The sun hung low over the horizon of the frontier planet, casting long shadows over the broken remnants of what had once been a thriving human settlement. Smoke curled into the pale sky, remnants of the battle that had erupted just hours before. Lieutenant Aaron Cade moved cautiously through the rubble, his boots crunching against shattered metal and scorched earth. His eyes scanned for signs of life, any survivors who might need his help. The air was heavy with dust and the faint scent of burning fuel. The alien skirmish had been sudden and merciless, leaving a trail of chaos in its wake. Aaron's medic pack hung loosely over his shoulder, its weight a familiar comfort. He had faced danger before, but each encounter brought a new sense of urgency. Humans were resilient, yes, but out here on the edge of explored space, resilience alone was not enough. He knew that the frontier demanded quick thinking, adaptability, and courage, the kind that could only come from experience and instinct. As he crested a small ridge, something unusual caught his eye. A figure lay crumpled among the ruins, half hidden beneath the debris of a collapsed building. Aaron's pulse quickened. He rushed forward, his senses alert for any sign of movement. Whoever this was, they had survived the initial attack, but the state they were in told him that survival beyond this moment was uncertain. The closer he got, the more he noticed details that made him pause. The figure was humanoid but not entirely ordinary. There was something in the way she moved, even in her stillness, that suggested strength beyond the usual human limits. Her skin, pale and unblemished despite the wounds, seemed almost luminous under the fading light. She was breathing, but unevenly, each inhale a struggle. Aaron knelt beside her, gently checking for injuries. A long gash ran diagonally across her shoulder, and her left arm was bent at an odd angle. Carefully, he opened his medic pack and began preparing bandages. His hands moved quickly but with precision, knowing that every second mattered. As he worked, the figure stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, revealing a deep shade of violet that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. Aaron froze for a moment, captivated by the intensity in those eyes. Then, in a calm, measured voice, she spoke. "Do you realize, human, that I am not an ordinary person?" I'm here to help," he replied, trying to mask the tension in his voice. "You need medical attention. Let me." He had encountered strange beings before, beings with abilities humans could only dream of, but there was something different about her. It was not just her strength or the unusual glimmer in her eyes. It was a presence, a sense of awareness and power that made the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Still, there was no time to hesitate. He continued to work, wrapping her shoulder wound and setting her arm as best he could. "Can you move?" he asked. "We need to get you somewhere safe. The danger coming is greater than you imagine." To Aaron's astonishment, she moved with remarkable agility, her steps controlled and precise despite the pain. He offered his arm for support, and she accepted it, leaning slightly but walking steadily beside him. The ruins around them were eerily silent. The initial attack had left only scattered debris and the distant echo of explosions fading into memory. Aaron led her toward what remained of the human settlement, keeping his eyes peeled for any signs of returning alien patrols. Every sense was on high alert. He had learned long ago that survival on the frontier required constant vigilance. As they moved, she observed the environment with a sharp, almost analytical eye. "You humans are remarkably adaptable," she said quietly. "Even in chaos, you find ways to survive. And I am here because this planet holds more than mere settlements. It holds a secret that others are willing to destroy everything to obtain." Yet the conviction in her voice left no room for doubt. She knew what she was talking about. "You're not human," he said carefully. "At least, not entirely." He had seen countless examples of humans surviving against impossible odds, relying on courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Here, in this moment, he sensed the opportunity to do something greater than just survive. Together, they could face what was coming. They reached the outskirts of the settlement, where a small cluster of remaining humans had gathered. Fear and exhaustion marked their faces, but hope flickered as Aaron brought Lyra into their midst. The survivors stared at her, unsure whether to trust this stranger whose presence radiated strength and mystery. Aaron spoke quickly, introducing Lyra and explaining that she could help them. Some were skeptical, their eyes narrowing as they assessed her. Others seemed relieved, clinging to the possibility that assistance had arrived when it was most needed. The tension was palpable, but Lyra did not waver. She moved among the people, assessing injuries, providing comfort, and subtly demonstrating her capabilities. Aaron watched as her presence inspired a mixture of awe and confidence. Humans, even weary and battered, had an uncanny ability to rally in the face of extraordinary circumstances. He felt a surge of pride. This was what humanity did best: adapt, endure, and rise when needed. As night fell, the settlement became quieter. Aaron and Lyra sat by a small fire, the warmth cutting through the cold and the lingering tension. "You could have left me there," she said softly. "Most would have. Or maybe humans just have a way of surviving no matter what. But together we can prepare." As they moved to organize defenses and check on the survivors, Aaron felt a strange sense of determination. Whatever this Lyra was, whatever secrets she carried, he knew one thing for certain: humanity had a chance, not just to survive but to rise, and he would do everything in his power to make sure they did. Lyra watched him quietly, sensing the same determination she had seen in countless humans before. Yet there was something different in Aaron, something rare: the combination of intelligence, courage, and empathy that set humans apart. Perhaps, she thought, these ordinary humans were anything but ordinary. The night stretched on, filled with quiet preparation, whispered conversations, and the occasional distant echo of danger. Aaron moved among the survivors, bandaging wounds, offering advice, and encouraging them to stay strong. Lyra stayed by his side, ready to intervene if necessary, but allowing him to lead. In the quiet moments between the chaos, Aaron caught her gaze once more. "Why are you here, Lyra, really?" he asked. She hesitated, then replied, "Because I believe humans can rise to this challenge. And because in you I see what makes humanity extraordinary. You are not ordinary, Aaron Cade, and neither is the people you protect. This planet, this war, will show you exactly what I mean." He didn't fully understand her abilities or her origin, but he knew one thing: the frontier was dangerous, the threats were real, and the fight ahead would test every ounce of human courage and ingenuity. And for the first time in a long while, he felt ready. For on this war-torn planet, amid the ruins and uncertainty, a human medic and a mysterious stranger had found each other. Together, they would face what no one else could, and perhaps, just perhaps, they would show the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. The morning light crept over the ruined settlement, illuminating the scattered debris and the weary faces of the survivors. Aaron Cade moved quickly, checking on each person, ensuring that the wounded had been tended to and that everyone had a basic understanding of the plan for the day. The previous night had been tense, but now, with daylight, there was an opportunity to organize, to prepare, and perhaps to hope. Lyra walked beside him, her movements effortless, yet cautious. She seemed to take in every detail: the positions of the makeshift shelters, the placement of defensive barricades, the demeanor of the humans she had saved. There was intelligence in her gaze, a deep awareness that suggested she had faced threats far beyond the human imagination. Yet, she did not act with dominance. She acted with observation and subtle guidance, letting Aaron take the lead. Aaron paused as he watched her. "You're incredible," he said quietly, almost to himself. "But why stay hidden until now? Why not show yourself before?" "I compliment you." He turned back to the survivors, most of whom were beginning to stir, emerging from makeshift shelters to assess the morning. Their faces reflected exhaustion, but also curiosity. Whispers spread quickly, questions about the stranger who had saved lives and displayed strength beyond any human norm. Some were skeptical, their eyes narrowed with suspicion. Others were cautiously hopeful, their gazes lingering on Lyra as if trying to comprehend how someone so extraordinary could exist among them. Aaron gathered them near the remnants of a partially collapsed building, raising his voice to address them. "Listen, everyone. We survived last night because we stayed calm and used what we had. Today, we do more than survive. We prepare. We reinforce our defenses, check our supplies, and stay alert. Danger is not gone, and we cannot afford to be unprepared." One of the survivors, a young engineer named Mara, stepped forward hesitantly. "Lieutenant, who is she?" she asked, gesturing toward Lyra. She seems different. How can we trust her?" "We will learn more about her abilities and intentions as we go, but for today, she is an ally. And right now, allies matter. It is not like anything you have faced before." They assigned tasks. Some would reinforce the barricades, others would check supplies, and a small team would scout the nearby area for potential threats. The work was exhausting, but each task was essential. Humans, Aaron knew, could endure far more than they believed possible. It was the human spirit, the determination to protect, to survive, and to fight, that made the difference. As the day wore on, Lyra moved among the humans, demonstrating techniques to enhance their defenses and improve efficiency. Yet she did so subtly, never undermining Aaron's leadership. The survivors began to adapt quickly, their skills improving with each passing hour. Aaron watched, proud of what he saw. Humans, even under pressure, had a remarkable ability to learn, to adapt, and to thrive in adversity. In the afternoon, a scout returned with troubling news. "Lieutenant," the scout said, breathless from running, "there's movement to the north. I saw alien patrols more than usual. They're coming closer." "Too many to fight directly," the scout admitted. "They're scouting, testing our defenses. We need to be ready. I can guide you, but it is your ingenuity that will determine the outcome." As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the settlement, Aaron gathered the group once more. "Listen carefully," he said. "We are going to set traps, reinforce defenses, and use the terrain to our advantage. Every person here has a role. Trust in each other. Trust in your skills. And trust that humans can rise to this challenge." The survivors huddled near the barricades, prepared for the potential alien attack. Aaron and Lyra patrolled the perimeter, their eyes scanning the darkness. Every shadow, every sound could signal danger. "You rely heavily on instinct," Lyra observed quietly. "It is impressive. Humans have a way of reacting that is unpredictable and effective. I have not seen this often. Instinct, experience, and training, that's how we survive. We adapt. We think on our feet. And when we don't know what to do, we improvise. Humans are good at improvising." But also to assist in proving that even ordinary humans can achieve extraordinary feats. Suddenly, movement flickered at the edge of the perimeter. Aaron signaled for silence, his heart pounding. Shadows shifted, and the unmistakable presence of alien scouts emerged. They moved with precision, their forms sleek and alien, yet clearly hostile. Aaron's mind raced. He had faced aliens before, but never in such numbers. Yet he also knew that humans were never truly powerless. Lyra stepped beside him, her posture calm, almost serene. "Trust in your abilities," she whispered. "We will turn their strength against them." He moved quickly, signaling the humans to activate the traps they had prepared. Rocks were dislodged to create obstacles, improvised alarms were set, and hidden positions allowed humans to attack from unexpected angles. The aliens advanced, confident in their superiority, but unaware of the cleverness of their opponents. When the first scout stumbled into a trap, confusion spread through the alien ranks. Aaron seized the moment, directing humans to exploit weaknesses in the formation. Improvised weapons, clever tactics, and sheer unpredictability allowed the humans to gain ground despite being outmatched physically. Lyra moved with precision, neutralizing threats with calculated efficiency, but it was Aaron's strategy and the humans' quick thinking that turned the tide. Every human acted with courage, every decision counted, and together they created a force that the aliens had not anticipated. By the end of the night, the alien patrol had retreated, their advance slowed and their confidence shaken. The humans had survived, not through superior strength but through intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork. Aaron stood among them, breathing heavily but proud. Lyra approached him, her eyes reflecting both admiration and satisfaction. You see, Aaron, humans are extraordinary not because of strength alone but because of your ability to rise, to think, to act when others falter. You have proven that tonight. And in the quiet moments after the chaos, Aaron understood something vital. Humans were not defined by what they lacked compared to others, but by what they could achieve when they acted as one, guided by courage and intelligence. Lyra watched them quietly, sensing the potential within each human. She had seen strength before, but this, the combination of ingenuity, courage, and resilience, was rare, even among her kind. Perhaps, she thought, humans were more extraordinary than she had realized. Aaron looked toward the horizon, where the first light of a new day was beginning to break. The danger was far from over, but humans had proven their capability. And as long as they retained their courage, their intelligence, and their determination, there was hope, real hope. Lyra placed a hand briefly on his shoulder. Tomorrow will bring more challenges, she said, but you will face them as you did tonight. Together, humans can accomplish what seems impossible. Ordinary humans doing extraordinary things. The night had been long, filled with tension, fear, and unexpected triumph. Humans had survived against the alien scouts, proving that courage, intelligence, and teamwork could turn the tide even against superior strength. Yet, Aaron knew that this victory was only the beginning. The real challenge was still ahead. Lyra walked beside him, moving with the quiet grace of someone completely aware of her surroundings. She had spent the night observing, noting every detail of the human defenses, the survivors' movements, and the subtle ways they adapted under pressure. Her violet eyes reflected the morning light, calm yet thoughtful. She seemed to carry a weight, a knowledge of the danger that was approaching, far greater than the patrols they had faced. Aaron glanced at her. Lyra, you've been quiet this morning. Something on your mind. You humans have faced many challenges, but the one coming is unlike anything before. You need to understand who I am, if we are to survive it together. The humans were busy reinforcing barricades, checking supplies, and discussing strategy. Their spirits had improved since the night before, buoyed by their ability to survive despite the odds. Listen, everyone, Aaron called, drawing the group's attention. Lyra has something important to tell us. Pay attention. This may change how we approach what's coming. Even the youngest survivors seemed to sense the gravity in his tone. Lyra stepped forward, her movements deliberate, her voice calm and commanding. I am not an ordinary human, she began. I am part of a lineage that was engineered for survival. My people were created to observe, guide, and, if necessary, protect human civilizations across the galaxy. I am what some would call a post-human, a being with enhanced abilities, designed to endure and overcome challenges that ordinary humans might find impossible. But listen carefully. The alien force you face is seeking something within humanity itself, a trait, latent and powerful, that you may not even know you possess. That is why they are here. That is why they will continue to pursue you unless you act. Yet he also felt a familiar spark of determination. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they had always found a way to endure. Why are you telling us this now? Aaron asked. Why help us at all? I have observed countless civilizations, yet few have impressed me as you have. Your ability to rise to a challenge, to improvise when the odds are stacked against you, is extraordinary. I am here to guide, not to replace. You are the key to your own survival. We may face enemies stronger than us, but we have something they cannot predict: our mind, our courage, our determination. We will survive because we will not give up. Every human had a role and every role mattered. Aaron could see it clearly. When humans acted together, pooling their skills and ingenuity, they became more than the sum of their parts. As midday approached, a scout returned with more troubling news. "Lieutenant," he said, breathing heavily, "alien forces are gathering farther to the east. Not just scouts, larger units more organized, moving fast. They may attack in force. But humans have an advantage: unpredictability. That is your strength. I can assist, but it is your creativity and courage that will make the difference." She demonstrated without dominating, showing humans how to improve what they already had, amplifying their natural abilities rather than replacing them. By late afternoon, the tension in the settlement was palpable. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, every sound suggested danger. Yet, there was also a growing sense of confidence. The humans had survived the night. They had adapted, learned, and risen to the challenge. They were beginning to realize that their intelligence, ingenuity, and courage were formidable weapons. Aaron walked through the settlement, checking on each group. "Remember," he said, "you are not just defending yourselves. You are showing what humans can do when faced with the impossible. Use your minds. Be alert and trust each other. Strength alone does not win battles. Courage, intelligence, and teamwork do, and we have all three." Lyra moved beside him, her posture ready yet composed. "Remember, Aaron," she said quietly, "this is not just about physical strength. It is about using your minds, working together, and exploiting their assumptions. Humans have always done this. Trust in that." Shadows shifted, alien shapes moving swiftly through the terrain, confident in their superiority. But the humans were prepared. Rocks were dislodged to create obstacles, alarms triggered by tripwires, and improvised weapons hidden in the shadows. Every move was calculated, every position reinforced. The aliens advanced, their precision formidable, but the humans' unpredictability disrupted their formation. Aaron directed the defenders, using their environment, their improvised tools, and their quick thinking to offset the aliens' technological advantage. Lyra moved among them, intervening when necessary, but always allowing humans to act, to lead, and to make decisions. The battle raged, but the humans began to gain the upper hand, not through raw power, but through strategy, adaptability, and courage. Each success reinforced their confidence. They realized that their greatest strength was not in matching the aliens blow for blow, but in outthinking them, adapting faster, and working together as a cohesive unit. By midnight, the alien patrol had retreated, their advance slowed, their confidence shaken. The humans had endured not because of strength alone, but because of their ability to think, adapt, and act decisively. Aaron stood among them, exhausted but proud. Lyra approached him, her violet eyes reflecting the dim firelight. "You see, Aaron, humans are extraordinary. Not because of what you lack, but because of what you can do when faced with impossible odds. You have proven it tonight." They had faced fear, uncertainty, and danger, and they had prevailed. Aaron looked toward the horizon, knowing that the battle was far from over. The alien force would return, larger and more determined. But he also knew something vital. Humans had a power that could not be measured in weapons or strength. It was the power of courage, intelligence, and collaboration, the essence of humanity itself. Lyra watched them, sensing the potential in each human. She had seen strength before, but this, human ingenuity, resilience, and bravery, was rare. Perhaps, she thought, humans were more extraordinary than she had ever realized. Aaron placed a hand on her shoulder, a gesture of solidarity. "Tomorrow will be harder, we'll face more challenges, but we will endure because humans always do. That's who we are." And as the first light of a new day began to creep over the horizon, Aaron understood one undeniable truth. The true strength of humanity was not in weapons, not in armor, not in technology, but in the courage, intelligence, and indomitable spirit of ordinary people, rising to do extraordinary things. The sun had barely risen when Aaron Cade gathered the survivors. The previous victories had boosted morale, But Aaron knew that the alien threat was far from over. Intelligence gathered from scouts and Lyra's observations indicated that a much larger alien force was moving toward the settlement. This time, it would not be a small patrol, it would be a full assault. Humans could not hope to win through sheer force. They needed a plan, strategy, and every ounce of ingenuity they possessed. Lyra stood beside Aaron, her presence calm but commanding. She had studied the aliens' movements, their tactics, and their behavior. "This is different from the scouts you faced before," she said quietly. "They will strike hard and they will expect fear. We cannot let them find it. But humans have something they cannot predict: your adaptability, your unpredictability, and your determination. If we use it wisely, we can turn the battle in our favor. That's how humans survive. That's how we win." Lyra led Aaron and a small team to a vantage point overlooking the alien approach. From this position, they could observe the terrain and predict where the enemy would strike first. The sight was terrifying. Hundreds of alien warriors advancing with precision, their formations tight, their weapons glinting under the sun. They were organized, efficient, and deadly. Aaron took a deep breath. "This is bad, but not hopeless. They're organized, yes, but rigid. Humans are not. We move, we adapt, we improvise. That's our advantage. Do you understand?" Humans were resilient in a way that no alien algorithm could predict. As the alien forces drew closer, the first signs of engagement began. A few scouts stepped into traps carefully laid by the humans, triggering alarms and sending rocks tumbling down hillsides. The aliens reacted with precision, but the humans' unpredictability forced them into confusion. Aaron moved among them, directing actions, encouraging improvisation, and reminding everyone of their strength. Lyra fought alongside the humans, her movements a blur of precision and controlled power. She neutralized threats quickly and efficiently, but always allowed the humans to act, to think, and to take initiative. Her presence was a guide, not a replacement. Humans were the heroes of this moment, and she ensured they remained in control. Hours passed in a tense rhythm of action and calculation. The alien forces pressed forward, but they could not anticipate every trap, every clever maneuver. Aaron's leadership combined with the humans' ingenuity created situations where the aliens' superior strength became a liability. They stumbled into ambushes, fell for traps, and found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Lyra observed quietly, impressed by the humans' adaptability. "They learn fast," she murmured to Aaron. "Their minds are sharp, and their courage is remarkable. This is why I believe humans can rise to the greatest challenges." That's what we do. Each human acted with courage, taking calculated risks to protect one another. Lyra stepped in at key moments, her presence amplifying the humans' effectiveness but never overshadowing them. She directed attention to weaknesses in the alien formation, allowing Aaron to exploit them. Humans were the ones taking initiative, making decisions, and executing strategies. Their ingenuity turned what could have been a devastating loss into a decisive moment of advantage. The sun was high in the sky when the tide began to turn. Alien forces, frustrated and confused by the humans' unpredictable tactics, began to falter. Small units were isolated and neutralized, their precision undermined by the humans' creativity and adaptability. Aaron moved quickly, signaling coordinated attacks, guiding groups to exploit gaps and reminding everyone of their strength. Lyra watched, her eyes reflecting a rare sense of admiration. "You see, Aaron, this is why humans endure. It is not power alone that wins, but intelligence, courage, and the ability to act when others cannot. You have proven this today." By late afternoon, the alien forces were retreating. Their formations were broken, their confidence shattered. Humans had endured, survived, and won, not through strength alone, but through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. Every human who had fought that day had contributed, and every contribution mattered. Aaron gathered the survivors in the settlement's central area. Their faces were streaked with dirt, sweat, and exhaustion, but also with pride and determination. They had survived against a superior force, using the one weapon no alien could match, human ingenuity. Lyra stepped forward, her expression calm but proud. Humans are extraordinary. Not because of what they lack, but because of what they can achieve when they act together, when they think, and when they refuse to give up. You have proven it today. That is what makes us human. She had seen many civilizations, many warriors, but rarely had she encountered beings capable of such rapid adaptation, such quick thinking, and such fearless courage. Humans were extraordinary not because of physical strength, but because of their spirit, intelligence, and ingenuity. Aaron walked through the settlement, checking supplies, ensuring the wounded were cared for, and confirming that every defense was reinforced. He knew the aliens would return, perhaps even stronger than before. But he also knew that humans had demonstrated something vital. They were capable of rising to any challenge, of thinking beyond limits, and of achieving what others deemed impossible. As evening approached, Aaron and Lyra sat together on a ridge overlooking the settlement. The horizon glowed with the fading light of day, and the sounds of distant alien activity echoed faintly in the distance. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges," Lyra said quietly. "But you have shown what humans can do. You adapt, you learn, and you rise. That is rare, even among my kind. Today proved it." They had relied not on sheer strength, but on their wits, their courage, and their ability to act together. And through it all, Aaron and Lyra had shown that humans were capable of extraordinary feats, even when pitted against forces that seemed unbeatable. Aaron allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. Humans were ordinary in appearance, yes, but within them lay a strength that could not be measured in weapons or power alone. Their creativity, courage, and resilience were the greatest forces in the galaxy, and they had just demonstrated that in the most remarkable way. Lyra placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "The future will test you further," she said, "but humans will rise. I have no doubt, your spirit is unbreakable." And as the night settled over the settlement, Aaron and Lyra prepared for the challenges yet to come, knowing that humans, in all their ordinary brilliance, were truly extraordinary. The dawn broke over the frontier settlement with a pale, silver light that reflected the tense anticipation in the air. Aaron Cade moved among the survivors, checking weapons, supplies, and defensive positions. The previous days had tested them all, but now the true challenge was imminent. The alien forces had regrouped, stronger and more determined than ever, seeking the latent human trait that Lyra had warned about. This would be their ultimate test. Lyra stood beside Aaron, her violet eyes scanning the horizon. "They have learned from their mistakes," she said softly. "This will not be a simple attack. They will strike hard, precise, and merciless. But humans have something no alien can predict: creativity, courage, and adaptability. If you remain united and think quickly, we will survive. This is no different, except this time we must be even smarter, even faster, and even braver." Engineers strengthened barricades with improvised reinforcements. Scouts patrolled the outskirts for early warning, and medics prepared for the inevitable injuries. Even the youngest and least experienced had been assigned roles, demonstrating courage and ingenuity beyond what Aaron had expected. By mid-morning, the first signs of the alien advance appeared. Dust clouds rose in the distance as alien forces approached in organized formations. Their movements were precise, their numbers overwhelming, but Aaron and Lyra had anticipated this. They had created traps, choke points, and ambush positions, turning the terrain to their advantage. Aaron addressed the defenders. "Remember, this is not just a battle, it's a test of who we are. Humans survive not by brute strength alone, but by thinking, adapting, and acting together. Trust each other, trust your instincts, and show them what ordinary humans can do when faced with the impossible." Rocks dislodged to block paths, pitfalls hidden beneath debris, and improvised weapons forced confusion into the alien ranks. The humans moved with coordination, responding quickly to threats and exploiting the aliens' rigidity. Lyra moved among them, her speed and precision evident, but she acted as a guide, not a replacement. She directed attention to weaknesses and suggested strategies, but it was the humans themselves who executed the plan. Their ingenuity, courage, and adaptability turned what could have been a desperate situation into a controlled engagement. Aaron directed the central defensive group, moving swiftly between barricades and defensive positions. His orders were precise, his thinking rapid. Humans responded instantly, using the environment, traps, and their own quick thinking to gain the upper hand. Every move was calculated, yet flexible, allowing them to adjust to the unexpected. Hours passed in a blur of action. Aliens pressed forward relentlessly, but humans refused to break. Each failure of the enemy forced them to rethink, adapt, and strike again. It was not the alien strength that determined the outcome, but the human's ability to adapt faster, think creatively, and act decisively. Mara, the young engineer, led a small group in a daring maneuver that rerouted a large alien force into a narrow canyon lined with traps. Rocks, cables, and improvised devices combined to slow the enemy, and the humans struck at precisely the right moment. The aliens faltered, their formations breaking under the unpredictable assault. Aaron observed, impressed and proud. Humans, even the most inexperienced among them, were rising to the challenge. Their courage, intelligence, and collaboration were extraordinary. Lyra's enhancements were useful, yes, but it was the humans who turned the tide, proving that their ingenuity and spirit were unmatched. The battle reached a critical point when a larger alien unit targeted the settlement's supply cache, threatening to cut off the humans' resources. Aaron quickly organized a counterattack, directing smaller groups to flank the aliens while others reinforced the barricades. The humans moved with precision, using every trick, every improvisation, and every ounce of courage they had. Lyra intervened at key moments, neutralizing immediate threats, but always allowed the humans to lead. Her presence amplified their effectiveness, but it was their creativity, intelligence, and determination that won every skirmish. Humans were proving that even against superior strength, they could triumph through ingenuity and courage. As evening approached, the alien forces launched their final assault. The largest group yet, coordinated and relentless, pressed against the humans' defenses. Aaron and Lyra moved to the command center of the settlement, coordinating attacks, reinforcing weak points, and ensuring every human knew their role. The battle was intense, each second critical. Aaron's mind worked like lightning. He devised a plan that combined every element of human ingenuity: traps, flanking maneuvers, improvised weapons, and the terrain itself. Humans moved like a single organism, each action calculated yet flexible, each person contributing to the collective effort. The aliens charged, confident in their power and numbers. But humans, unpredictable and fearless, turned their confidence into a liability. Traps sprung, paths shifted, and ambushes struck with precision. The alien forces faltered, their formations breaking under the pressure. Humans exploited every weakness, every misstep, turning a seemingly impossible situation into victory. Lyra moved alongside Aaron, her presence a reminder of the power they held together. "This is what I spoke of, Aaron. Humans, ordinary as they may seem, achieve the extraordinary when they act with courage and intelligence. That is who we are." Humans, relying on courage, intelligence, and teamwork, had proven that they could rise above any challenge. Aaron gathered the survivors in the central area. Their faces, streaked with dirt and sweat, reflected relief, pride, and determination. "You did it," he said, his voice firm but filled with emotion. "You showed what humans can do, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. This victory is yours. Remember it. Use it to face whatever comes next. And I have no doubt that you will continue to prove it in the future." The survivors exchanged glances, understanding the truth in his words. Fear had been present, yes, but so had courage. Uncertainty had loomed, but so had determination. And through it all, humans had adapted, acted, and triumphed. As night fell, the settlement settled into an uneasy calm. Fires burned quietly, illuminating the faces of exhausted but victorious humans. Aaron and Lyra stood on a ridge overlooking the settlement, watching the horizon for any signs of returning danger. "This is far from over," Lyra said softly. "Other threats will come. But you have shown something vital today. Humans are not to be underestimated. Your creativity, courage, and adaptability make you extraordinary. We will face whatever comes. Humans survive, humans adapt, humans rise. And we will continue to do so. Ordinary humans capable of extraordinary things. That is our strength. You are extraordinary, not because of your power, but because of your spirit, your mind, and your courage." They were ordinary in appearance but extraordinary in capability. He looked at Lyra, sensing the bond that had formed through battle, trust, and shared purpose. "Thank you," he said simply, "for believing in us, for guiding us. But the truth is, we proved it ourselves. Humans rise because we must, and we rise together." "Indeed, Aaron, today humans proved their worth. Tomorrow the galaxy may test you further, but I have no doubt you will rise again. And when you do, you will continue to show that humans, ordinary as you seem, are extraordinary beyond measure." They had relied on courage, ingenuity, and unity, and in doing so had proven the strength of humanity. As night fully settled over the settlement, Aaron allowed himself a moment of reflection. Humans were ordinary, yes, but their minds, hearts, and spirit were extraordinary. No matter the threats that came, no matter the challenges ahead, they could endure, adapt, and rise. And in that truth lay their greatest power. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder once more. "The galaxy will continue to challenge humans, Aaron, but you have proven today what I have long believed. Ordinary humans, united and courageous, can achieve the impossible. That is who we are. That is what makes us extraordinary.